Imagine walking a long road with heavy bags on your shoulders. Every step feels like a burden, not because of the distance ahead, but because of the weight you refuse to put down. That weight is your past. Mistakes, regrets, disappointments, all of them slow you down if you keep looking back. Today, I want you to realize something powerful. Life is not meant to be lived in reverse. It is meant to be lived forward. That is why the message is simple, yet life-changing. Keep moving and don't look back. Life is a journey of forward motion, a constant unfolding of moments that invite us to grow, to change, and to discover who we are meant to become. Yet, many of us live as though our past mistakes and failures are permanent chains tied around our ankles. We convince ourselves that because we stumbled once, we are doomed to stumble forever. We allow shame, regret, and disappointment to replay like a broken record, forgetting that the past was never designed to hold us hostage. The truth is simple: the past is a lesson, not a prison. It is there to teach us, not to trap us. Think about it. If life were meant to be lived in reverse, your eyes would be in the back of your head. But they are not. You were created to look forward. The design of your body itself is proof that your vision, your focus, and your energy are meant to move toward what is ahead. The past is behind you for a reason. It is gone, finished, unchangeable. What remains is its lesson, a gift that allows you to make better decisions today than you did yesterday. Yet, how often do we chain ourselves to the past? Someone makes a mistake in a relationship, and instead of learning, they dwell on it until they lose the ability to love again. Someone fails at business, and instead of seeing the wisdom hidden in that failure, they label themselves a failure and stop trying altogether. This is what happens when you mistake the past for a prison instead of a classroom. You start living in captivity to memories rather than walking in the freedom of growth. Progress is the essence of life. Every tree begins as a seed, every river begins as a drop, every sunrise begins in the dark. Nothing in creation remains still. The seasons change, the days move, the tides shift. You are part of this creation. And so your life is meant to be about forward momentum. When you hold on to the past too tightly, you go against the natural flow of growth. It is like standing in the middle of a river and refusing to move. Eventually, the current will exhaust you and you will lose yourself. Instead, learn to embrace the past for what it truly is: a teacher. Your mistakes are not proof of weakness, but proof that you are human. Your regrets are not meant to paralyze you, but to remind you of the choices you should not repeat. Your failures are not the end of your story, but stepping stones toward wisdom, maturity, and success. Every mistake holds a message. Every loss carries a lesson. Every heartbreak plants a seed for a stronger version of yourself. If you shift your perspective in this way, you begin to free yourself. You no longer look at your past as a prison cell, but as a school. You no longer replay your pain endlessly, but extract meaning from it. And once the lesson is learned, you can release it and keep moving. Imagine a student who refuses to leave the same grade even after passing the exam. They sit in the same classroom year after year, never progressing, never advancing. That is what it is like to dwell on the past. You cannot live in the same grade forever. You were made to graduate to higher levels of strength, faith, and wisdom. When you understand that life is about progress, your outlook changes. Suddenly, yesterday's tears do not intimidate you because you see the wisdom they brought. Yesterday's mistakes do not haunt you because you recognize the growth they unlock. Yesterday's failures do not trap you because you know they equipped you with resilience. The past is simply a foundation on which you can build a stronger tomorrow. The most dangerous lie you can believe is that your past defines your future. That because you failed before, you are destined to fail again. That because you were rejected once, you will always be unworthy of love. That because you made one wrong choice, you are forever marked by it. None of these beliefs are true. The past only has power over you if you hand it the keys to your future. The moment you reclaim those keys and decide to walk forward, you break the cycle. You unlock the door and step into progress. So do not allow your history to become your prison. Let it become your teacher. Let it refine you, not confine you. Let it shape you, not shackle you. Life is too short to keep looking back when the road ahead is filled with opportunities waiting to be seized. The future does not care how many times you fell. It only cares how many times you rise. Every sunrise whispers the same truth. Yesterday is gone. Today is here and tomorrow is waiting. Choose progress. Keep moving forward. Leave the prison of regret and step into the freedom of growth, because life is not about the chains behind you. It is about the path ahead. One of the greatest obstacles in life is not failure itself, but the weight we place on our failures. Mistakes are inevitable, they are part of the human experience, but what determines whether those mistakes destroy us or develop us is how long we dwell on them. Many people fail once and then live as though failure has become their identity. They let a single moment of weakness define years of their life. They keep replaying what went wrong, rehearsing their regrets, and questioning every choice they made until the burden becomes so heavy that they stop moving altogether. The tragedy here is not that they failed, but that they chose to stay on the ground long after life had given them the chance to rise again. Dwelling on mistakes slows your journey forward because it locks you into a cycle of self-pity and doubt. Instead of using the mistake as a stepping stone, you turn it into a wall. Instead of asking, "What can I learn from this?" you ask, "Why did this happen to me?" And as those questions circle endlessly in your mind, time keeps moving forward, opportunities keep passing, and life keeps calling you ahead, but you are stuck reliving yesterday's story. You lose momentum because your focus is in the wrong place. Imagine trying to drive a car while staring only into the rearview mirror. Not only would you move slowly, but you would eventually crash. That is what happens when you dwell on mistakes. You blind yourself to the path that is opening ahead. The reality is that every person who has ever achieved greatness has also made mistakes. Some have made huge ones, yet they did not allow those mistakes to paralyze them. They recognize that stumbling is not the same as stopping, and falling is not the same as failing forever. They understood that mistakes are feedback, signals pointing to what needs to change. If you treat them that way, mistakes can actually accelerate your journey forward because they give you insight and wisdom you could not have gained otherwise. But if you dwell on them, they become chains instead of guides. The reason dwelling is so dangerous is because it turns a single event into a repeated wound. The mistake might have happened once, but by replaying it in your mind, you experience the pain of it 1,000 times. You drag the weight of something that was meant to be temporary into every moment of your life. And as you carry it, you lose energy, you lose focus, and you lose the motivation to keep moving. A runner cannot win a race if they are carrying a heavy load on their back. Likewise, you cannot move into your future if you keep dragging the weight of old mistakes with you. The better choice is to acknowledge your mistake, extract the lesson, and then let it go. Moving on does not mean pretending it never happened. It means refusing to let it define your present and dictate your future. It means saying, "Yes, I fell, but I also learned. Yes, I was wrong, but now I know better." The lesson remains, but the burden does not. By doing this, you transform the mistake from a stumbling block into a building block. Remember, the journey of life is long, and every step forward matters. The more time you spend stuck in regret, the more precious time you lose. You cannot rewrite the past, but you can shape the future. The only way to do that is to keep moving. Mistakes are like storms. They come, they disrupt, but they eventually pass. And once they pass, the sky is clear and the path ahead becomes visible again. But you will only see it if you lift your head and start walking forward. So do not allow dwelling to rob you of progress. Do not let one mistake convince you that your entire journey is ruined. You are not the sum of your errors, you are the result of your resilience. The road to success, peace, and fulfillment is paved not by people who never made mistakes, but by people who refuse to stay stuck in them. Every second you waste looking backwards slows you down. Every moment you choose to rise and take another step brings you closer to where you were meant to be. Life will not wait for you. Opportunities will not stand still until you are ready. The only way to honor your potential is to stop dwelling on what is gone and keep moving toward what is yet to come. Strength is often misunderstood. People imagine it as never falling, never breaking, never failing. They equate strength with perfection, with an image of someone who has it all together and never stumbles. But that is not true strength. Real strength is not in avoiding the storms of life, but in walking through them and continuing despite them. True strength is not in pretending that pain does not exist, but in rising every time you are knocked down. Strength is not about being flawless. It is about being resilient. And resilience is built through consistent movement, taking one step after another even when the road feels heavy, even when your heart feels tired, and even when the destination seems far away. Think about the strongest people you know, not in terms of physical power, but in terms of character. Chances are their lives have not been easy. They have faced losses, disappointments, heartbreaks, or failures. But what sets them apart is not that they were spared from hardship, it is that they did not give up when hardship came. They kept moving, they cried but they moved, they fell but they got up, they faced rejection but they tried again. That is resilience. It is the quiet, stubborn determination to refuse to stay down when life pushes you to the ground. Consistency plays a critical role here. It is easy to get up once or twice, but true strength is shown in getting up repeatedly. Even when you are tired of falling, life rewards persistence more than perfection. The people who reach their goals are not always the most talented, the most educated, or the most gifted. They are often the ones who simply refuse to stop moving. They understood that progress, even when slow, is still progress. One small step forward every day creates momentum, and momentum builds into breakthroughs. When you remain resilient and consistent, you create habits of strength. Your mind learns that setbacks are temporary, that wounds heal, and that no defeat is final unless you allow it to be. Resilience teaches you to adapt, to find another way, to believe that where you are now does not determine where you will end up. And consistent movement ensures that you do not stay stuck in one chapter forever. Even the smallest action taken daily eventually transforms your life in ways that giant leaps never could. The beauty of resilience is that it grows through challenge. Just as muscles grow stronger under resistance, the spirit grows stronger through trials. Every difficulty you endure, every obstacle you overcome, is training you for greater strength ahead. What once seemed impossible becomes manageable. What once broke you now builds you, and what once stopped you now strengthens you. That is the gift of resilience. It transforms your scars into sources of power. But this strength can only be discovered if you keep moving. Too many people give up too soon. They stop after one setback, assuming that failure means they were not meant to succeed. They surrender after rejection, believing it defines their worth. But those who understand resilience know that rejection is redirection, and failure is feedback. They do not stop, they adjust, they learn, they keep pressing forward. Over time, this unshakable persistence shapes them into people who cannot be broken easily. True strength is not loud, it is not always dramatic. Often, it is the quiet act of waking up one more day and choosing to try again. It is the decision to put one foot in front of the other, no matter how heavy those feet feel. It is the choice to continue walking through the darkness with faith that light will come. It is the refusal to let setbacks have the final say. That is what resilience and consistent movement look like, and that is where true strength is found. So if you want to be strong, do not focus on avoiding pain or running from mistakes. Focus instead on rising when you fall. Focus on the daily steps, the consistent effort, the unwavering belief that every forward movement counts. Strength is not about being unshaken, it is about being unbreakable in your commitment to keep moving. And once you embrace resilience and consistency, nothing in life, no failure, no rejection, no storm will have the power to stop you from reaching the destiny that was always meant for you. Growth is impossible when your hands are full of regrets. Imagine trying to climb a ladder while holding on tightly to heavy bags that are dragging you down. No matter how strong you are, the weight will eventually pull you back, and you will find yourself stuck on the lower rungs, unable to rise higher. This is what happens when you hold on to regrets. They may begin as simple thoughts. I should have done this differently. I shouldn't have said that. I wish I could go back. But over time, those thoughts grow into chains that keep you bound to a past that cannot be changed. If you truly want to grow, you must learn to let go of regrets and embrace the present moment, because the present is the only place where growth can happen. Regrets are tricky because they often disguise themselves as reflection. Thinking about the past can be useful when it teaches us, but it becomes dangerous when it traps us. Reflection asks, what can I learn from this? Regret keeps repeating, why did I do this? Reflection empowers you, regret weakens you. Reflection fuels your growth. Regret freezes your growth. You cannot rewrite what has been written, but you can decide what to do with the pages still left blank in your story. And that choice begins now in the present. The present moment is a gift that too many people ignore because they are staring into the rearview mirror of life. They are living in conversations that already ended, in choices that cannot be undone, in failures that are long past. The danger of this is that while they are stuck in yesterday, today slips away unnoticed. Growth does not wait for you. Opportunities do not pause while you mourn over your regrets. Life keeps moving, and if you do not embrace the present, you will miss the beauty that is unfolding right in front of you. Letting go of regrets is not about denying that mistakes happened. It is not about pretending that everything in the past was good. It is about acceptance. It is about saying, yes, I made choices that I wish I could change. Yes, I failed at times. Yes, I hurt and I lost. But none of that can be changed now. What I can change is how I choose to live today. That mindset is the gateway to growth, because growth requires energy, focus, and clarity. And you cannot access those if your mind is trapped in yesterday. Think about a seed buried in the soil. If it could regret, it might mourn the fact that it had to leave the sunlight to be covered in darkness. But if it holds on to that regret, it will never sprout. Growth only happens when it accepts its current place, pushes through the soil, and reaches for the light again. In the same way, you cannot grow by wishing for a different past. You grow by accepting the lessons of your past and channeling them into the present. Every regret is a weight, and the act of releasing it lightens your soul. When you let go, you free yourself to take action today. You free yourself to pursue opportunities that align with who you are now, not who you were then. You free yourself to love again, to try again, to dream again. The present becomes a field of possibility once you stop contaminating it with the shadows of regret. And the more present you are, the faster your growth accelerates. Growth is about movement, and movement requires presence. You cannot take steps forward while facing backward. You cannot climb upward while gripping the weight of regrets. To grow, you must unclench your fists, release the past, and embrace the gift of now. This moment right here holds more power than any regret ever could. The choices you make today are seeds of tomorrow's harvest. If you plant bitterness and regret, you will reap stagnation. If you plant faith, action, and gratitude in the present, you will reap growth, peace, and fulfillment in the future. So choose wisely. Regret is a thief that robs you of the strength to grow. The present is a treasure that offers you everything you need to become more, to rise higher, to live fully. Letting go is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the courage to say, I am no longer defined by what I could not change. I am defined by what I choose to do now. And once you make that decision, you will find that growth begins to flow naturally because you are no longer bound by the chains of yesterday but free to embrace the possibilities of today. The future is like an open field, vast and full of seeds waiting to be planted. It is alive with possibilities, doors that have not yet been opened, paths that have not yet been walked, and blessings that have not yet been received. But the sad truth is that many people will never see these opportunities because they are too busy looking backward. They are staring so hard at what they lost, what they failed to achieve, and what went wrong that they miss the beauty of what could still go right. Backward thinking blinds you. It clouds your vision and keeps you chained to a past that is already gone, while the future quietly slips by unnoticed. Every person is given a limited amount of time, and the direction of your focus determines the quality of that time. If you focus on the past, you drain yourself of the ability to see the opportunities of the future. It is like walking into a bright room with your eyes closed. The light is there, but you cannot see it. Opportunities do not always shout. They whisper. They require attentiveness, alertness, and a mind that is open to what is possible. Backward thinking closes that openness. It shuts the door to possibility and keeps you locked in regret, replaying what cannot be changed instead of preparing for what can still be shaped. The future is not built by those who dwell on yesterday. It is built by those who have the courage to look ahead and believe in what is possible. The inventors, the dreamers, the leaders, the achievers, they were not people who never failed. They were people who refused to let their failures blind them to future opportunities. They understood that every closed door is not the end of the road, but a redirection toward a different door, perhaps one they never imagined they would walk through. If they had stayed staring at the door that closed, they would have missed the one that opened. The danger of backward thinking is that it tricks you into believing that your best days are behind you. It whispers that because you lost something, you will never gain again. That because you failed once, you will always fail. That because you were hurt before, you will never find joy again. These lies blind you from the truth that tomorrow can be better, that healing is possible, that success is still within reach, and that life still has gifts to offer you. But to see those gifts, you must be willing to lift your eyes from the past and fix them firmly on the future. Think of a farmer who spends all his time looking at last year's harvest. He mourns over the crops that withered, the seeds that did not grow, the storms that destroyed his fields. If he never plants again, if he never works the soil today, then the future will have nothing to offer him. But if he focuses forward, if he plants new seeds and tends to them with faith, he opens himself up to a new harvest, one that could be greater than anything he lost before. This is the nature of opportunity. It does not live in yesterday's soil, it lives in today's choices and tomorrow's results. The future is generous to those who look forward. It holds more opportunities than you can count, but they only reveal themselves when you are ready to receive them. Backward thinking blocks your readiness. It steals your energy and narrows your perspective. Forward thinking, on the other hand, makes you alert, creative, and hopeful. It trains your eyes to see potential where others see problems. It opens your heart to new relationships, new paths, new ideas, and new blessings. If you want to experience the fullness of life, you must learn to let go of backward thinking. You must refuse to let old wounds blind you to new joys. You must refuse to let past failures blind you to future victories. You must refuse to let yesterday's closed doors blind you to today's open ones. Life is constantly unfolding, and every sunrise carries with it fresh chances. The opportunities of tomorrow will not wait forever, and they cannot be seen through the lens of regret. So lift your eyes, turn your focus forward. Believe that the future holds more than what you have already experienced. Trust that even if you have fallen, something greater still lies ahead. The future is not waiting for your perfect record. It is waiting for your willingness to see it and seize it. Do not let backward thinking blind you. Open your eyes to the opportunities ahead because they are there, shining brightly, waiting for the one who is ready to embrace them. Life is a road filled with unexpected turns, steep hills, and moments when the path feels too heavy to walk. Everyone encounters obstacles, loss, failure, rejection, setbacks, and storms that seem endless. But what separates those who give up from those who rise is not that one has fewer problems than the other. It is that one has tapped into a deeper source of strength, faith, and determination. These two forces act as fuel for the journey. They keep your heart alive when circumstances try to break it, and they push your feet forward even when everything around you whispers, "Stop." Without them, obstacles become walls. With them, obstacles become stepping stones. Faith is the belief that there is something greater guiding your path, that no matter how dark the tunnel looks, there is light at the end of it. It is the inner assurance that your life has meaning, that your struggles have purpose, and that your future is not defined by your present difficulty. Faith is what allows you to take the next step even when you cannot see the whole staircase. It gives you courage when fear is screaming. It gives you hope when despair is knocking. And it gives you peace when chaos surrounds you. Without faith, the road feels unbearable. With faith, even the heaviest burdens can be carried because you trust that there is strength beyond your own carrying you forward. Determination, on the other hand, is the decision to keep going regardless of how many times you stumble. It is the fire that refuses to be extinguished. It is not a feeling, because feelings fade, but a choice, a conscious commitment to rise again every time life pushes you down. Determination says, "I will not stop here. I may be tired, I may be wounded, but I will not give up." It is the discipline to keep moving step by step, even when progress feels painfully slow. It is the ability to look at obstacles not as reasons to quit, but as challenges to overcome. When faith and determination combine, they create an unstoppable force. Faith tells you there is a reason to move forward. Determination makes sure you actually do it. Faith lifts your eyes toward the promise of tomorrow. Determination moves your feet through the difficulties of today. Faith gives you vision, determination gives you action. Together, they make it possible to endure hardships that would otherwise crush you, to rise after defeats that would otherwise define you, and to keep moving on a path that others might have abandoned long ago. Obstacles will always appear. They are part of life's design, meant not to destroy you but to shape you. A seed cannot grow into a tree without breaking through the soil. A diamond cannot form without pressure. Gold cannot be purified without fire. Likewise, your character, your wisdom, and your strength cannot grow without obstacles. But if you face those obstacles without faith, you will see only impossibility. If you face them without determination, you will stop at the first sign of struggle. With both, however, every obstacle becomes a training ground for greatness. There will be moments when your faith feels small, when doubts creep in and your determination falters. That is natural. Strength is not about never feeling weak. It is about not surrendering to weakness. Even the smallest flame of faith can keep you warm in the coldest night, and even the smallest act of determination can restart your journey after a fall. Progress does not always come from giant leaps. Sometimes it comes from simply refusing to stay down when life knocks you over. Faith and determination fuel resilience. They remind you that no matter how far you have to go, you already have what it takes to keep going. They remind you that storms do not last forever, that mountains can be climbed, that broken hearts can heal, and that failure can become the foundation for future success. They remind you that the story of your life is still being written, and that as long as you keep moving, there are still chapters of victory, joy, and fulfillment waiting to unfold. So when the road is difficult, when obstacles stand tall, when fear tries to paralyze you, hold on tightly to faith and determination. Let faith lift your spirit, and let determination move your steps. Together, they will carry you through every storm and lead you to horizons you never imagined you could reach. Because with faith in your heart and determination in your will, no obstacle is strong enough to stop you, and no setback is final enough to define you. You will keep moving, and the path ahead will always open for those who refuse to quit.